Hey there guys, and welcome back to the channel. Well, today is the video that honestly I really never wanted to make. And it's been a rough couple of weeks. You'll notice that I haven't been uploading any content, and that is literally because I really haven't been able to. I've had so many issues with my NVIDIA GPU, my 5080, that it's really been a nightmare. I've been diagnosing the thing for weeks now. I finally got it to a point where I feel like it's usable, and I just wanted to share this video with people because, to be honest, it's getting harder and harder to recommend NVIDIA GPUs at this point in time, and I want to talk about why that is, because I think you need to know this. And I know they're super expensive right now. Prices have gone through the roof. We'll discuss that, so it's not the best time to buy, but also sometimes you might not have a choice, and that's where I kind of was. Well, that's where I am now. But anyway, so first of all, let's talk about the issues right now, because there is quite a lot of them, and I think they're understated, especially if you spent $2,000 or $3,000 on a new GPU and up. Crazy talk. So look, the first one, the lack of availability of cards was just ridiculous. Why would you even launch a GPU if you don't have any stock? Like, giving a store 5 GPUs for like who knows how many people. You're a big store and you've got 5 of them. That is not a launch. Don't even bother. Get some stock, come back when you've got stock. Launch it when you've got stock. I get tariffs and issues and trying to beat the rush and just trying to get out as many as you can. But look what happened anyway. Prices went up through the roof either way. They're probably just trying to get in as early as possible. And that's one of the reasons I bought mine so early, or I just went to look for one, is because I could sense these tariffs were coming, and they haven't even come yet. But if they did come in, I knew that prices would rise and I'd be paying more in the future. So I was like, if I can find one, I'll get one. If I can't, I would have stuck with my 3080. And now I'm kind of wishing I did stick with my 3080, but I'll get to that in a minute. Second, the poor increase in gen-on-gen performance. The 5080 is the worst one, and that's what I bought. So if you want to hate, if you think I'm hating on NVIDIA right now and that I'm an AMD shill, I've never had an AMD card. I've always had NVIDIA cards, and that's why I'm making this video, to sort of explain to you that I'm an NVIDIA user. And this is the first really bad issues that I've had. I've been very lucky, but this has been a nightmare. So the generation on generation performance wasn't really worth it, to be honest, without this multi-frame gen, and we'll talk about that. Now, number 3, my God, still using the same connector, that 12 WPR, whatever the hell that thing is called, the connector, when they know that they've had issues with this in the past that almost destroyed the 4090. Why would you come back and make a graphics card again with the same connector when you know the issues you've had? Now it's worse with the 5090s, some 5080s apparently, and maybe even 5070s. Oh God, I hope not, because that's not even that much power they're running. But they're still having some issues? God, don't tell me. Don't tell me. And then you want to bring in number 4. This is one off the top of my head. Not getting what you pay for in terms of ROPS on your 5090. What the hell? You pay for something and they can't even manufacture the thing properly. I don't understand. Just like, what were they, blind? Were they making AI make their cards? Is their whole operation AI operated and something happens with it and it just forgets to build the thing properly? My God. That's another problem. So, in coming back to this connector, this could be number 5. Raising the power of that connector, that 8-pin, 6-pin connector, whatever the hell that thing is on top of it, raising that to like 575 watts to 600 watts when it was having issues with the 4090 at the power that it was. What are you doing? It's like, is there any logic going on? Now, I'm not a professor in technology, or I'm not an engineer, but I can tell you that logic would say, if we've had so many issues with this connector, why am I putting more power through this and risking more issues. Why would you do that? I don't understand. And what are we up to? 5? Let's go to number 6. Number 6 is the drivers are horrendous. Now, this may not be for everyone, depending on what you do with your PC, but I've had endless problems. To be honest, endless problems and endless time. I've had 3 weeks trying to fix my computer from black screens, for one. Incompatibility with PCI Gen 5, which is a part of the GPU. That's one of the benefits. You can't use that right now. Some people's PCs, after putting the drivers on there, the PC goes black and that's it. You've got nothing. You can't do anything. It's not literally killing PCs, but it's causing problems that you can't even reboot after that. You have to figure out your own way, put another GPU in, use onboard graphics just to get a screen. I mean, what are we talking about here? Honestly. And I'm probably going to get flamed for this video, and I will never be sponsored by NVIDIA or maybe even any of their partner boards. And this is not a partner problem. I'm not taking this out on partners, because those guys they're going to have issues. If NVIDIA can't fix this, the partners are going to have such a bad time with this that I don't know what's going to happen. They might even just go, no, we're not making cards anymore. NVIDIA can just produce them. And they're going to be the only ones producing them, because there's just no profit in it when you have to deal with all these issues. And their customers like us are going to be so pissed off that we're probably not going to go with partners. And that's a shame, because the partners are just along for the ride. My GPU runs extremely cool. Everything mechanically works fine outside of the drivers. So I just want to let you know that. And I like my card. I like the way it looks. I like the way the fans work. It runs really cool. A good undervolt, which I had to do to get it to work properly. And it runs really, really cool, like 55 degrees max flat out with an undervolt. It is good, and I barely lose any frames from doing that. It's sweet. But the partner guys are going to struggle with these problems, even though it wasn't their cause, the majority of them. But these drivers, they were rushed. I'm telling you, there was no way that these were tested, because, and I don't think NVIDIA did this deliberately, because it's not just the 50 series that are having problems with these drivers. Now it's affecting 20 series. My mate next door, he's having the same issues. He upgraded his drivers to play Cyberpunk, and now he's getting black screens. Yeah, he restarted his computer. It didn't turn on. I'm just like, he's got a 2080. Even the 30 series are having these problems. So these drivers that they released for the 50 series is now doing damage to, not damage, but now it's causing issues for 20 series, 30 series, all the way up. And I honestly think the issues with the NVIDIA drivers is that they're too widespread now. There's too many different types of technologies that they use, and they're trying to bundle them all into one set of drivers. It's almost a gig download, I think, for the NVIDIA drivers. A whole gig. Like, really. It's crazy. And I think it's getting too complex, and they can't work on them fast enough and fix all the little problems. And one problem is causing another problem, and it's just ballooning out. They're bringing in all these new AI tools, and they're trying to manipulate them into working with everything else. It's becoming a nightmare. And then they remove, that's another, I don't even know if we're up to 6 or 7, I've lost track, but removing 32-bit PhysX support. Like, now you're losing things. Now you're losing abilities to play games. What is this? So I enjoy Batman Arkham, and it was running well on older drivers for the 5080. Man, I was getting massive frames, and now it's running terrible. Like, why? It was working. Why remove something? And maybe they're trying to stop some of these issues, and they're trying to remove the complexity. But are you going to pay $3,000 for a GPU and you can't play some of the games that you love? You know, if in the past, it should destroy those games. My God. So I'm running out of things here. I could talk about this all day. And probably there's two more main things I want to touch on. The ridiculous prices. The prices now are out of control. This was going to happen either way, whether it was tariffs, when you release cards and you only have 1,000 of them. This is always going to happen. And I don't know if this was deliberate, but it feels very deliberate, and it's a terrible launch. This is quite possibly the worst launch that I've ever seen. And the worst thing, I tell you right now, the worst thing is that you could spend $2,000, $3,000. Shit, at the moment you could spend 4,000 USD dollars on a 5090, and it could burn your house down. It could burn your house down. If you leave the thing running and you go out for a bit, you come back, it literally could burn your house down. Like, what is that? So not only do you have all these other issues, you've paid money for this. And I've paid money for this. So I didn't think that these things would be a concern, and I'm letting you know that these things are a valid concern right now. And this may not be forever. They may fix all this. They better fix all this, because I went back to my shop where I bought it from, and I got told that if I think there's an issue with my card, they have to send it back, and they won't give me a replacement until the manufacturer says that, yes, you have an issue. So if it is just a driver issue, and they test it and they're like, no, it's mechanically fine, give it back to me, I have to deal with it until NVIDIA fix it. Now, I don't know if that's legally possible in Australia, but apparently that's what I got told. And they said that they also have to pull apart the card to make sure that it has the right chip in it, because there's scams out there, which I have seen, that they're replacing the main die, the chip in it, with older chips. So they have to literally pull your card apart at the manufacturer to see if it's real before they will give you a replacement. What if they stuff it, pulling it apart, and then they put it back together and it doesn't work properly, and then they say there's nothing wrong with it and you get it back and it's wrecked? Like, there's so many problems that could happen here that my mind absolutely boggles. It absolutely boggles. Now, the positives of this. The positives? There is positives. Haha, there is. AMD have a massive opportunity here. Now, we know the saying, AMD tend to miss opportunities when they're staring them in the face. This is the biggest opportunity that AMD will ever get. I'm telling you, if AMD can bring out high-performing cards, if they can decide to, I know they're not going to, but if they were going to, you've got to seize this opportunity to bring out cards that just work. Drivers work, software works. It doesn't have to be the biggest performer on planet Earth. Don't do AI. Some AI maybe, but go for pure raster. Make it reliable and make it work, and I think people will buy. I would buy AMD if you bought out a reliable card that works very well, that performs exceptionally well. Remove that stupid connector off the top and just make the thing work. Make it run cool. Make it power efficient if you can. And holy crap, I'd probably buy one. I'd probably sell my 5080 and go and buy an AMD card. I seriously would. And that's not for everyone, because everyone uses their GPU different. But I'm just saying, for me, holy crap, I probably would, after I just spent $2,000 odd on Australian dollars, $2,200 on a 5080. So just to wrap this up, if you are looking to buy an NVIDIA GPU right now, I wouldn't. Not while the drivers are so bad. An older GPU, yes, you can roll back drivers and use some older drivers. You'll be fine. But if you're going to buy a 50 series right now, I would just not do that. Not do that and this is someone who owns one. I would not do that right now until these drivers can be fixed, because I am not completely sold that that NVIDIA can fix this problem. It could be a design problem, and that's what scares me the most, is that they could have to recall these bad boys, and that's going to be a nightmare. That is going to be an absolute nightmare. If they have to change the design, I'm praying this doesn't happen, because I have to undervolt to get mine to semi-work correctly. So there is some issues, and I don't specifically know what that problem is, but I'm concerned. And I think you guys should know this as well if you are looking to buy one right now. Hey, but I hope NVIDIA fix these problems. I really hope they look at their drivers and their support right now, because it's very hard to recommend an NVIDIA GPU right now. Things change quickly. Let's hope they do. They've brought out 3 drivers since the launch. It's solved some problems, but the majority of them, not yet. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Sorry it was a bit of a rant, but I need to get this information out there because I think it's important, especially if you're going to spend big dollars right now on a GPU. So thank you guys for watching. I also have a new build coming up very soon. I just bought a new case for my PC, and we're going to vertical mount the GPU, and we're going to totally rebuild, get some new fans, bigger case, and yeah, it's going to be pretty cool. So if you want to see that, stick around, like and subscribe. Talk to you in the next video. Peace.